Hey everybody, how is everybody doing today? I am wanting to wish everybody a happy Easter, and I'm trying to figure out how to get this thing off my screen too. Drag here. Oh, okay. I'm such a noob when it comes to this stuff. Okay, so today I'm keeping it very easy. And apparently I only have like a few seconds to get people's attention. So I figured I would just keep this little dry erase thing that I have going here that says what we're doing, who I am, all that good stuff. So happy Easter. Thank you so much for being here. We are making a very simple watercolor mixed media situation thingy going. So right now I am just taping off the borders just to make it easy. I'm sure you've seen stuff like this before, but I figured it would be easier to just get going instead of waiting for people to join. Here we go. I'm working on an 8x8 piece of paper. I have with me here this beautiful palette and my handy dandy little turtle. And I love my little turtle. So let's see here. Today I will be working with this giant brush. It holds a lot of water. And so I think what I'm going to do is work with this tone. It's called Flesh Tone. That's literally the last of it that I have. I'm going to add just a little bit of pink to it, this opera pink right over here. I don't want too much of it, but I'm going to mix it in like this. Literally the last of it. So let's hope that this is all I need. Come on, Cletus, come on. You got this, boo. Okay, I think we're getting somewhere. It's like there's that one last little piece that doesn't want to melt. Come on. Okay, I think it's a little too pink. So I'm just going to bring in a little bit of Naples yellow to peach it up a little bit. There we go. All right, so I'm just going to take this and I'm going to make just a random blob of color here. I might even bring in some Chinese vermilion just because I want just a little bit of rosiness to it, but not a ton. So this is the Chinese vermilion color right here. I am working on Hobby Lobby paper. Super simple, super cheap, everyday watercolor. I just tend to use the cheap paper. I never buy it at full price at Hobby Lobby either, just so you know. So again, just working quickly because it does dry quicker. And I think that looks good. So next I am going to go into my palette here where I have some olive green. And I'm going to use that same brush. I'm going to kind of just mix whatever this is over here with it. And I'm just going to make another little blobby like this over here. Maybe get it just a little bit more. Dixie Girl says, hi, I just started painting with watercolor. That is so exciting. I love it when people finally start painting with watercolor because I know it intimidates a lot of people. And I know that sometimes I can make it look really easy when I recognize that it's not. However, I'm hoping that by showing you this tutorial, you can see just how easy it is in some regards. So hopefully that helps. Yeah, me too. Me too. All right, so I have some sepia right over here, which I'm going to mix with a little bit of buff titanium, which is over here on my little turtle right here. So what I'm looking for is kind of just a mid brownish kind of tone here. And what I'm going to do is kind of just put it down the side like this. And what I also might like is to bring in a little bit of that That's a sepia into this green to really make it a little, not muddy, but not so yellow either. So I'm just gonna go over that a bit. Let me set this down. Kind of make sure I get that edge. There we go. All right, sweet. So that is it for just the base layer. I am going to, actually, hang on, that's not it for the base layer. Let me grab some more sepia and buff titanium and darken this just a little bit. This is just a little too light for my taste. And I don't mind that it, you know, has these little layered lines here. So if you are just now joining us, welcome. My name is Jen. I usually go live twice a day. Wasn't sure if I was going to be able to do a live either today or tonight. Had some free time right now, so decided to get on now and do just a quick demonstration. Feel free to share this with your followers because I always appreciate a good share. I realize that I'm not everybody's cup of tea. I do say a lot of crass jokes usually, especially when my regulars get on. So just know that. And then if you wouldn't mind giving this a lot of hearts and sharing, that would be great. Trying to get approved for that Amazon influencer program. It is such a pain in the butt. All right, I'm gonna hit this with a heat gun real quick. It's gonna be loud for like 2 or 3 seconds and then it'll kind of fade into the background. Feel free to leave me a comment. Let me know if you have any questions, comments, tell me where you're from. If you celebrate Easter, if you're eating something delicious tonight, leave me a comment, let me know. Fast jokes and painting, instant follow. You got it, boo. Let me tell you, over the last week, we have had so many funny things happen, including I got my live shut down because, little backstory, I got laid off of my job on Halloween and have not been able to get another one. It's been very, very difficult. And so on one of my lives recently, we were talking about how these people are talking about making money doing like foot photography and farting in a jar and selling those on eBay. So we were talking about it one day and joking about it. And then this guy named Jack ends up coming in and saying that he was going to pay the bills for the first 5 people to DM him. So I told him he could see himself out. And then I was like, well, since I'm an unemployed freeloader, he can pay my bills. Maybe I'll send him a photo or, you know, whatever. It was totally a joke. He reported it as sexual content and my live immediately got shut down and I had to appeal it. And of course I got my access back and all of that stuff. So if you go to my feed and you see an image of me where it says Florida Stanley, it's like a cartoon. You'll see within it a fart in a jar with the name Jack. That's him. Florida Stanley, because right now I'm just in my Florida Stanley era where I don't care about anything because Florida Stanley smiles. Florida Stanley is who you want on your team. And I live in Florida, by the way. And I'm all about sipping my icy minty lemonades on my back porch this time of year because it's beautiful. And anyway, just some funny inside jokes. And there's a foot on there that's all painted nice with like a little toe ring and cash flying around it. Hysterical. Anyway, baked ham, scalloped potatoes, and fresh fruit salad. Oh, that sounds like heaven. We are having spaghetti and meat sauce. My brother and his wife are coming over. My parents are in Miami visiting my other brother and his family because they converted, well, my older brother converted to Judaism like years ago. So they are doing Passover this past week. So they went down there to celebrate the end of I think it's the end of Passover. Honestly, I don't totally know. But anyway, so they're down there seeing their family. Otherwise, they would be up here with us. All right. So if I missed your comment, I'm sorry. I try to keep up with those. So now we're going to start by bringing in a nice little leafy guy here. We're going to paint some circles, and then we're going to do some splatters, and then we're going to do some metallics, if that sounds good to you. So I think for the green, I'm going to, let me bring this back in here so you can see what I'm doing. I'm going to go back in over here. I think this was rich green gold, which is kind of pukey. I'm going to grab some of that olive green, kind of just bring it back in over here. And then, thank you, the Creative Club. I appreciate the follow. And I appreciate the shares and all of that stuff too. So thank you, thank you. I'm going to grab some of this darker green over here. This is Perylene green. It's more of a blue green, so when we add it to this yellow, it's going to kind of cool it off a little bit, which is fine. And I'm using a number 12 round brush. You don't need to run out and buy all this same stuff. Just use what you have. And just trying to make it a little bit darker. I'm going to go into this sepia right here to just darken it, muddy it up just a little bit. And I think that's about where we want it to be. All right. Now, you guys, I know you're not going to like this, but I have to do it. This is my favorite brush in the world. It is a Dagger. Okay, hang on. I can't use that word or I might get banned again because apparently the word Dagger is not something that TikTok likes. But this is a 3/8 inch Dagger brush, which had apparently they removed from my post that I did the other day, even though I did an entire video dedicated to this brush. But this is my favorite brush in the whole wide world. And a lot of people hate it because they find it really difficult to work with, but it is my favorite brush on the entire planet because I can do so much with it. And if you missed that video because you were not here, you can go to my website and I think I've already posted the replay there. If not, I will be posting a replay there. It's all free. So if you go to my website, jenshannon.com, I post my replays of my lives there. All right, so you'll get to see my little demo here of it though. So what am I trying to say? The key to using brushes when you're doing foliage is to start at the tip. That's what she said. Press down to the belly. Again, that's what she said. And then as you're dragging it, come back up to the tip. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. We're going to start at the tip here. And then we're going to drag and then come back up. And so we have kind of this nice, this is not the leaf itself. This is like just the stem, the stick, whatever you want to call it. But as I do that, the reason why I like it this way is because as you're creating this stem, it's going to look like there's a leaf at the front there. Now, it's important that I get a little bit of extra water on there because that is a little dark or a little too light. And I want to make sure that there's some darkness in there. Okay, so now let me show you why this is my favorite. So I'm going to start at the top here. And if I'm going to make a leaf, I'm going to start at the tip, press down, wiggle just a little bit, oh dear, and then come up on the tip again and look at that beauty. And then I'm going to just kind of come through here with some of this dark just to give it a little bit of extra depth. And I'm going to do the same thing over here, but I'm going to go the opposite way. So I'm going to take this, I'm going to bring out a little stem here, and then I'm going to press down and come up onto the tip. Now, this one's a little wonky right here, so I'm just going to bring it in like that and kind of just even it out so it comes to a point right there. And again, bring in some extra color here. Again, going to grab some more water, and it looks like I'm already kind of out of that color that I mixed. So I'm just kind of mixing more off to the side here. And then I'm going to grab this and take it upwards like this. There we go. And if you want to, you could even kind of bring it out wider like this, so you kind of get this indication of a wider leaf. And then let's take one out like this, and we're gonna just kind of wiggle like this and down like this. So fun. Gonna bring in some more of that brown because he's going a little bit more yellow than I want him to. Now, there are so many different ways to do leaves. If you haven't seen it yet, I posted this earlier as a very quick and simple tutorial on how to do leaves. So feel free to go check that out. Like I said, I have free replays of stuff over on my website that you can also check out. So there are resources for all sorts of different leaves you can do. And this is just the one that I chose to do for this particular demonstration today. And I'm just mixing up some more of that color, FYI, off to the side. All right, so now I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna kind of just come up off of this and go straight up because I don't want them all to just kind of fan out and look like there's only two sides to this. So what I'm gonna do is come up like this and wiggle it like that and bring it to a point there. And I want to make it just a little bit wider, like that. There we go. And again, just going to kind of fill that in nice and loose. Going to grab some more of that green. And then come over here. Let me grab my paper towel, because I have just a little too much water on there. Just dabbing the edge there. And then again, going to come up from over here and bring in another leaf like that. And then what I want to do to really bring this one out that's kind of going up like this is give it more brown than green so that it really stands out. And so I'm just going to take that and I'm going to start it from down here. I want this to dry first though, or else they're just going to kind of meld into each other and they're going to look like one. So I'm going to hit this really quick with my heat gun. Again, this is going to be loud for just a second and then it'll go away. So hang on. Okay, so here's where this happens. Again, I'm going to start here, going to come up, and we'll just kind of bring it in like this. And again, I'm going to just make sure those outlines are obvious there, that this is a leaf coming up this way. And then we can start over here with some more green on the brush. And we'll come out this way, like that. That one's a nice little fat one. I like that. And let me dab off over here, grab some more. I'll take this, let me dab off the edge there. And again, just kind of making sure that this is darker. Now, we're just about there. I want to give one indication here, just kind of on the edge, so that the edge still has some visual interest. And again, I'm just kind of adding some darker areas there. Okay, I think I'm good with that for now. So now what I want to do is make just some little line areas. And to do that, I'm just going to take a round brush, looks like this. Your message is a bit odd. If you haven't been following me for a while, I can see why you would say that. Okay, so the colors that I'm going to use are going to be the same green that I've been doing here. And let's see here. We're going to start here, and I'm just going to use the tip. Oh, dear. And I'm going to hold my brush like this. And Auntie Sue, hello. How are you today? And by the way, this whole part here that says life is hard, you should be too, that was a Viagra billboard that I saw at the Phoenix airport. So every time I hear somebody say life is hard, you should be too, that's why I snuck that one in there. Oh dear, that's what he said. Okay, so this one's gonna go like this, I think. And we'll try to curve that a little bit better. There we go. And let's see here. Love your sense of humor in your painting. Thank you. Auntie Sue says, hey, I take it in high doses. That's what she said. We usually have a lot of fun on this channel, especially when my regulars are around. If you don't get it, that's totally fine. Like I said at the beginning, I know I'm not everybody's cup of tea, and I'm okay with that. So, you know what? I'm cool with it. If you want to mute me and still watch because you like my art, that's totally fine too. And you know what? Sometimes I'm spicier than others, and my regulars will tell you that. I keep saying my regulars, and when I say that, I can't help but think of like bowel movements. All right, so this looks good so far. We are done, I think, with the water. No, we are not done with the watercolor aspect. Let me do one more thing. What I want to do is take some of that same green on that same tiny brush and just do some tiny little marks, or not marks, splatters like that. I don't want to go overboard, but just a little bit. Okay, now I'm going to hit it with the heat gun again. And by the way, I did this because apparently you have like 3 seconds to tell people who you are and what you do when you're doing this crap. And I was like, you know what? Rather than repeating myself 1,000 times and annoying everybody, I'm just going to put this here so people can read it. And if they want to, they can. And if they don't, they can scroll away. Whatever. Okay, turning on the heat gun again. Sorry, it's going to be loud for a few seconds and then we'll be done. Not done, but done with the heat gun for now. I am curious though, what did you all think of the Dagger brush? All right, that's good enough for now. So here's where the magic comes in. This is my magic right here. It is the Windsor Newton gold ink. Move my watercolor palette over and shake it up really good because the glitter settles to the bottom. And a lot of times I have to use a little thing to stir it up real good. Last time I used a little paintbrush that I didn't care about and I just let it dry on there and I put it back in here earlier today, but it's hiding. This is the thing I keep my brushes in. So sometimes they hide really well in here and it's hard to find them. But I know it's in here. It's in here somewhere. Yeah, I could probably use this one. Anyway, okay. So I'm going to use my script liner brush. This one's from Hobby Lobby. It is a number 3. Again, I never pay full retail price for anything at Hobby Lobby. I just wait for it to go on sale if I know I need it or want it. And I'm going to take this and just mix to get the stuff off the bottom. Thank you for the follow, Just. I appreciate everybody who has followed thus far. Also really appreciate those of you who have hearted or gifted or anything you've done. If you've shared, even if you've only watched for a few seconds and didn't like me, I appreciate it. All right, so I'm going to take this script liner brush, I'm going to dip it in that gold ink. And the first thing I'm going to start off by doing is the same thing that I did with the last one when I did this. I'm going to hold the tip of the brush because I really want this to be not perfect. I want to go over it, but I want it to look intentionally jagged. And the only way to really get that is to not have control. And so I don't want control. So the only way to not have control is to hold the edge of the brush like this and just drag it across the paper as best I can. And I'm going to bring this in closer so you can see. Let me see if I can get a nice reflection on that for you. You see it? There it is. I just changed my lighting setup to an old ring light I had from back when I was a photographer. Hopefully it's better than what I had. All right, so we're gonna do the same thing. And the thing is, this stuff settles really fast. So what you'll notice if you start to drag this over the top and it doesn't look as reflective, it's because you're not picking up as much glitter. You're picking up more of whatever it's floating in. I don't think it's guar gum, but it's something. I don't think it's oil either because it dries pretty quick. Or gum Arabic. I don't know what it is. Okay, so we got that. Now, let me do this. And then I'm gonna dip some more. And then we'll do these lines here. And then we'll start in on the leaves. I'm going to tap that there because I think there was a little too much on the tip. And that's what she said. And I didn't want to put too much on there. Boy, there's a lot of tip action going on in this video. I think this is the most I've ever talked about that in any video I've done. All right, there we go. So you can see we've got all that nice gold reflective. Okay, so when I approach foliage like this as it relates to having reflective material, there are a couple ways I can do it. And I might like to get your advice on it. So let me put this in here for a minute. Get that off so it doesn't dry in the bristles. There are two ways I can approach it. I can either do something similar to this in that like I'm just kind of trying to accentuate what would naturally be on a leaf, like, you know, the little veins that run through it and so on. Or I could make patterns out of it. So for example, if I wanted to, I could say maybe do part of it where this is like kind of separated by what would be running down the center of the leaf, but instead of having the veins going like this or indications of veins, I could do like different types of circles or dots or any sort of mark making in like I would in any sort of other abstract mixed media that I might do. So what do you all think? Leave me a comment. Let me know your thoughts. Do you want to see just kind of accented leaves, accented marks, or do you want to see some mixed media mark making? And you know what? I might be able to kind of show you something that looks like that. Let me give you an example. That way you know a little bit more like what you're voting on. Thank you. Looking through one of my sketchbooks. Let's see here. Okay, here we go. So if you look at like this, you can see these have like different, and it might be hard to see because it's like a very light reflective, but these have what I would call like a mixed media abstract mark making. So they have like patterns in them and they're different. Whereas something like, let me see, I know I have my pieces that I did. with my followers last week that I can show you. One second, because I think you'll want to see those. Okay, like this, where it's more just accentuated. So what do you think? Would you rather see those mixed media mark making, or would you rather see more kind of a natural accentuation of these leaves? If you want the first one, put a number 1 in the comments. If you want the second one, which would be like this, put a number 2 in the comments. Rob and Banana are in the house. How are you all today? Number 2. Okay. I was kind of leaning towards that too because I really like the simplicity of it. But I like giving you guys options, you know? Options are good. Okay. So we're going to go number 2. All right. So let me grab some of this gold. And again, I'm still using that script liner pen, brush. And so what I'm going to do is, again, just make sure that the edge of that brush doesn't have like a big blob of ink on it. And I'm going to start by just kind of giving a little indication and kind of broken up lines, a little bit thicker, a little bit thinner. And because we have this leaf right here, what I want to do is, again, start on the tip and then kind of press down with the belly to get that nice thicker stroke. And as we get to the end there, we'll kind of break up the line a little bit and get to the edge like that. So you can see what that looks like. And then I'm going to go back in. Again, I'm just kind of wiping off the excess so we have a nice sharp point on the end of this liner, this script liner brush. And I'm going to go over here because I don't want to put my hand in this, so I usually try to work on this side of what I'm doing first and then work my way here. So I'm going to start up here, and I'm going to start just by making a little bit right here. And then I might just, again, work my way down a little bit. And this one I might not have quite as thick because I feel like this really needs to stand out as a leaf since it does sit in front of the stem here. And so this one I might just keep relatively small, give it a little bit more of an indication there. And then we'll kind of give it some little veins like that. Keep it very simple. And then this one would be the same. And some of these don't need to have the veins even. I just liked that here because this one was so wide. But some of them could just have maybe a couple little marks that just indicate veins versus having so many. And again, the glitter in this really settles fast. So you want to have some sort of stirring stick in there to make sure you can continue getting that glitter on your brush as you go. All right, so here, again, I'm going to start up here. And I'm just kind of dragging, allowing some breaks in the line. You want to wiggle it just a little bit so it has movement as well. And I might just add a little bit here. And then I'm going to come back down here to the stem and continue it up this way. And then this guy I'm going to bring up here. There we go. start up here with this one. Bring it down. There we go. Okay, now I'm going to start working down here and work my way up this way, because that way I don't have to smear my hand in it as I go down. And we're going to start right here. Starting to lose the gold on there again, so again, just mixing it up. This gold is so worth it though. It's my absolute favorite. And I'm just going to go over that line that I did just to make sure it's nice and accentuated and bright. There we go. Okay, now we'll go back to this one. And then last one, want to make sure we get the stem in there. Okay, awesome. So I think this is looking really good. Now I want to add just some additional little mark makings in the gold. And so to do that, again, I am going to mix this up. And you know what, before I'm done with this brush, because I'm going to switch to a different brush for that, I'm going to get enough on the tip. You can see it's not quite as sharp as what I had shown you in the past. And what I'm going to do is just dab some more of that gold on there. Again, not going overboard or anything. Just clean up some of that gold. And now I'm going to switch to a different brush. And this time I'm going to use my, which one do I want to use? I'll use my little number 6 round brush. And I'm going to just dab it into that gold, wipe it off a little bit. And because I don't want to put my hand in here and smear any of that gold, I'm going to just put my hand on the side so I can rest my painting hand here. And what I'll do is just dab some little dots like that. And maybe some can go over here too. And maybe some right here. Maybe we want some bigger splatters too, just for good measure. There we go. All right. Now, if you wanted to keep going with this, you could bring in a black ink pen and do some additional outlines, or you could bring in some India ink and do some outlines, which would be fun. But I actually like the softness of this, so I would just leave this as is. Now, I'm not going to leave you guys hanging. I know that really what you all came here for was a good tape pull. Am I right? You guys just wanted a tape pull. So let me just clean my brushes off real quick, put them over here, and now I will give you a wonderful tape pull. Here we go. Should I zoom in for it? You zoom in for it. There we go. Move my water. I'll move my little sign. Here we go. Oh, look at that. It bled a little, but that's okay. I'm not mad about it. Boom. Satisfying. Let's see here. I think this one's next. I'll move it this way so that you can see the whole thing. Okay, shoot. I know that's right. Yeah. Boom. All right. I'm going to do this one. Now I want arrays of emoji hands. How many of you think you can do this as watercolor artists or people who have expressed that they are new to watercoloring? Who thinks they could do this? Everybody's shy today. There we go. Okay. So I am happy with the way that this turned out. I hope that you are too. Thank you. Thank you, Chalice and Christy. If you enjoyed this tutorial, I appreciate any of your little gifts that you like to send, or any follows or any shares that you would like to share. I really appreciate you spending some of your Easter with me. Your hearts are amazing, and definitely continue to try out watercolor and see what you can do. I mean, this is literally like 3 random blobs of watercolor and some leaves. And I know leaves can feel intimidating, but they're also just kind of blobs of color. So practice, practice, practice. It gets better, I promise. And like I said, it's really just about practice. The muscle memory comes with time, and there's so many different things you can do. And hey, you know what? If you try this, you can do this exact one. Like, I don't care. Copy this if you want. This is not something I care about. You know, some people teach courses and then they get all bent out of shape when you post that, you know, you've created something similar. And then they're like, oh, you copy my work. I don't care. So if you attempt this, please, by all means, put it on your social media and tag me in it, because I'm going to want to see it. And I'm going to encourage you. And I'm never going to be like, oh, that's terrible. You're welcome, Chalice. I hope I'm saying that right. But I would love to see what you do with it. And like I said, I have the replays for free over on my website, which is jenshannon.com. I try to get them up within a few days. Sometimes I'm a little behind, but I do the best that I can. And I always put a supply list. If you decide you want to purchase any of the supplies, I'm very forward about those. I do put asterisks next to the ones that are affiliate links, and I always put like a little note when I last purchased them, or if it was gifted to me by like my family or a friend, because sometimes I've worked a special project for a friend or a family member in exchange for art supplies. But never have I been just given these items by a company in exchange for a review. So I'm very transparent about all that. And I do also photograph these in a way that you can see this reflective material. And I put them for sale on my site for a very reasonable price of $32 for a 10 by 10 print and $36 for a 12 by 12 print. And that is shipped to the United States. So the shipping is free. So again, no pressure. The replays are absolutely free. Again, you don't have to purchase these supplies. I also post the links for the Hobby Lobby stuff. Anything that you can get there, you know, feel free to get there. Just use whatever you have. Use whatever you can get access to. These are just the supplies that I've been collecting for the last 10 years, plus, 12 years. And I want you all to succeed in whatever makes you happy. So again, if you do this, tag me in it. I want to see it. I want to encourage you. And I hope that you all have a wonderful rest of your Easter Sunday. And I will see you in another live very soon. All right.